Hello and welcome to Walt's Manga Update for the date of March 5th, 2012. I think I'm right. I'm right, okay. How we all doing? I've had a good week. Very good week. Nothing really eventful happened. Though that might be the bad part of my week as well. Nothing eventful happened as I didn't do shit. But hey, I've read some manga, I read all the new chapters, and I'm ready to present them here. But before that, I'm going to do some shameless plugging. Be sure to check out my blog, pixelsmackdown.wordpress.com. You'll find the link down below. Fuck. Yeah, this is off to a great start. Can't even get through the fucking opening. Anyway, we got manga to talk about, and frankly, one of the best manga has come back from my hiatus this week. Oh, this is going to be a great fucking episode. I'm just stuttering my way through this first fucking part. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. Hayate the Combat Butler, chapter 352, Illness Begins in the Mind. That means you can get sick if you neglect your mind. And chapter 353, he caught a cold because he is no longer an idiot. So Hayate's back from break, and personally, I love it. I am such a huge Hayate the Combat Butler fan. I love this series a lot. So what happened in these chapters? Well, in 352, everyone but Hayate had a cold, and so he had to take care of everyone, and rather than actually catching the cold this chapter, he got hit by a truck. And of course, still trucking. Because, of course, he is the man that can get hit by a car after catching up to it on a bike going 80 miles an hour and then stop a bunch of kidnappers. I love Hayate. Next chapter, 353. Apparently, this is the chapter Hayate catches a cold on the day he has a big exam, which actually, in the last chapter, they were saying, oh, you have the exam. That means you're going to catch the cold on the day of the exam. Of course, not wanting anyone to worry, he says he doesn't have a cold, and so that causes everyone in the series, even Fumi, to show up and completely distract him and bug him. And so, of course, that all leads to him having one of the best moments in this series yet, where the teacher actually ended up throwing her PSP across the classroom, it hitting him in the head and sticking in his head, and then he takes it, snaps it in two, and doesn't say a damn thing. Look out, we got a badass in the room. These were both great chapters, very funny. I highly recommend this series to anyone. I hope some people got to catch up to it while I was on a hiatus, but now it's back, and it's back to more weekly hilarity. I love this series. Bleach, chapter 483. Krisk. I have no idea how to say this chapter. It's chapter 483, folks. So first off, Bleach gets the Badass Quote of the Week award, as the villain asks, I thought you would have better security than this. And the head of the Soul Society guy says, I am here. There is no better security than this. Awesome. Just awesome. Seriously, say that the next time someone says you should get more security for this. That just makes you sound like a total badass. So, what happened this chapter? Well, the fight between Ichigo and whatever the fuck his name is, I honestly forgot, keeps going. Eventually, Ichigo using his Bankai, but apparently this guy was waiting for him to use his Bankai, as he has a special power, apparently, that melts everything. And of course, this power is supposed to melt away Ichigo's Bankai, and of course, he's like, fuck that noise, I hit you with my Black Slash. Bah! Ah! Boom! Done. Yeah, that was anticlimactic. And so, this chapter ends with some random, generic Soul Society guy getting killed. I'm sorry, no. I don't care if any Bleach fans call me on this bullshit. So many characters in the Soul Society are just such generic characters meant to be killed off or meant to do one thing and then, like, they briefly show up every time the Soul Society gathers or something. I don't give a shit. I memorize none of them by name. I know Renji, I know The guy who has the name that sounds like Byarura, blah, 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 whatever his name is. I know the guy who wears the eye patch, not by name, by eye patch. That's about it. That's it. That's all I know. So, yeah. This chapter of Bleach, anticlimactic and kind of boring. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. Aside from that one line at the beginning of the chapter, I am here. There's no better security than this. That was awesome. Overall, yeah, pretty boring. Very boring. One Piece, chapter 658, Biscuit's Room. Before we actually talk about the chapter, let me just say this. From the Decks of the World, the little, short story, one-page stories that have been going on in the first page of, One Piece chapters, this has been running for a damn long time. Like, I don't even think any of the other ones before it had run this long. We're already up to 40, and I know it's spanned more than 40 chapters, not counting, like, color pages and stuff, which usually go to these really nice pieces of artwork. But yeah, I just want to say that's been running for a fucking while, and I'm really enjoying it, to be honest. It's very neat to see all the characters from beforehand just get their little spotlight. So, what happened this chapter? Well, this chapter has basically two parts. One is with Nami's group, where they find all these children who have become gigantic children, who have been captured apparently, and now Nami wants to rescue all of them since they're crying children asking her to save her. And it was a very cool moment to see Nami just stick up for them. And so of course we get a scene of Sanji and Frankie fighting off all the guards of this weird place, Punk Hazard. It's very weird guards. We still don't know who the villain of this is going to be, and I don't honestly think it is anyone we've met before. Yeah, of course, we kind of expect almost to see these villains that we've seen, so many of them already built up, already have been foreshadowed. We kind of expect them almost to be there, but we need to remember, this is a giant ocean. You're not going to run into the person you expect to most of the time. You're going to run into some random asshole that you gotta kick his ass. But anyway, I still do believe that this is going to be a good arc where we'll finally be able to see the Straw Hats, see how strong they've gotten. Maybe not all of them, because I don't think this is going to be that big an arc, but it's definitely going to be a big arc. It's just going to do something, even if it just shows off the Straw Hats. So the second part of this chapter is basically with Luffy's team, who have been contacted by Brook, and basically he's telling them, oh, we're at the snowy part of the island, we're in this giant little fortress, and so they've decided to head over to the snowy side of the mountain. All the while the Harpy woman is still following them. And we also find out something very interesting about the island. The reason the nature is so divided in this area is because this is the island where Aokiji and Akenu, I believe is his name, Akenu, had their big fight over who will take over for the Marines. And so their powers were so extreme that it just twisted nature into what it is now. Just one half so cold that it's always snowing, and one half so hot that it'll always be on fire. And I really do think that's very interesting. That I'm very curious to see, like, how that will affect battles, if maybe the Straw Hats will end up doing something to bring nature back into order or break it even more. It's very interesting to think about, and I honestly can't wait for the next chapter. This was a very good chapter. Naruto, chapter 576, The Guide of the Reunion. It would seem like something should have happened in this chapter, wouldn't it? I mean, we had such an interesting setup from last chapter. We had 2 cliffhangers last chapter. We had the first Hokage's face sticking out of Madara's chest, and then we had Sasuke seeing Itachi in the forest. And you would think, with 2 fucking cliffhangers, he wouldn't waste a chapter and do nothing. But that's exactly what happens here. Nothing happens. Okay, one thing happens, but I think it clarifies as nothing because I don't think anyone even gives a shit about Sasuke anymore. The one thing that actually does happen this chapter is that Sasuke starts to follow Itachi, and they have this conversation about, oh, I did everything you said, I followed down the right path, but I've decided to destroy Konoha. And he's like, you went down the wrong path, you're a fucking moron. Which I thought was hilarious. Okay, that's not his exact words. That's not his exact words, but god damn it, if that wasn't what was between the lines. Like, reading between the lines, I swear to God, he was flicking Sasuke off. That was beautiful. The second thing that happens is, well, again, nothing happens, is he's trying to say, oh, you're the first Hokage's granddaughter or something, or whatever relationship, Tsunade. That was her name. That was her fucking name. I knew it. It just took me a second, so shut up. He was saying, you're a relative of, the first Hokage. He was a medical ninja. You're a medical ninja, but he was better than you, so ha. And, like, Tsunade's like, yeah, so, still gonna kick your ass. And, like, that would have been pretty neat, like, maybe she went through that kind of thing and she ended up growing because of it, but nah, we just decided, oh, we're just gonna waste a few pages on this shit. It was nothing. I feel nothing about this chapter. I don't think it was boring. I don't think it was stupid. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was good. I don't think it was great. I can't think anything of nothing. You can't make me feel anything about nothing. I'm sorry. I don't give two shits about this chapter. I don't. Fairy Tail, chapter 273, Orga of the Black Lightning. This chapter made me laugh. Basically, the big thing about this chapter was it was basically showing little bits and pieces of all the fights in between the Fairy Tail battles, which were really only two fights. One between, let me see if I can place this right, because I don't know if I can do this. Blue Pegasus, it was the snow guy, against, Mermaid Heel, I think their name was, against a witch who could use spiderweb magic, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know, that was something, maybe that should have been Flair's power. Like, it seems a little more evil, doesn't it? But anyway, and then, this is what made me laugh. We had Sabretooth step up, and they sent in Orga of the Black Lightning. And of course, this Quattro Cerberus guy, all of a sudden he starts crying, and he says, tears will make you strong. Boom! Orga just unleashes a devastating strike of black lightning and completely wrecks the fucker. And he's like, oh, that wasn't entertaining? Okay, I'll sing a song. And he starts singing a song to the crowd. That is bloody hilarious. I'll give Hero one thing. When he has a character that he can just do whatever the fuck he wants with, it's beautiful. It really does turn into something genius. And of course, our next big oh, I'm sorry, I choked on my own spit there. That's brilliant. That's the sign of a world leader right there, choking on your own spit. So what, the last fight, the build-up for next chapter, we have, Jura, which we saw during the, Orison Siest arc. I have no idea if I said that right. I probably didn't. Who's going to be fighting, Gajil. No, wait, that's not right. Mistogon. Fuck it. I can't believe I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Mistogon, who of course we know is, that fugitive in disguise. And so now we're going to see a fight between two masterclass wizards, and it's going to be really neat. So I'm looking forward to that. Overall, it was an okay chapter. No, you know, actually, I would say this was a good chapter, because I really did enjoy it. The scenes with Orga made me laugh. It really did. It was really hilarious. So, yeah, I'd definitely say this was a good chapter. Hunter x Hunter, chapter 338, Up in the Trees. This chapter insulted its audience's intelligence. It really fucking did. That's the best way to describe this chapter, is insulting. Okay, let's talk about it. So, the beginning starts out fine. Gon and Killa, and Killua. Yeah, it was Killua. Gon and Killua finally say their goodbyes as Killua has to take care of his sister and Gon wants to climb the tree on his own. And so Gon climbs the tree and, okay, I should say this, the artwork still isn't the best, but it's not as bad as last week's. Not anywhere near as bad. So he makes it to the top of the tree in one chapter, which I was not expecting, only to find his father there sitting up in the sky. And so he talks to his son about, do you know what this tree is? It is a tree that stopped growing when it was young. It was supposed to continue growing and grow beyond the heavens. And so basically he starts talking about hunters are supposed to go where no man has gone before. And so he starts talking about wanting to go to the stars. He wants to go to space. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. I'd be amazed if a Hunter x Hunter fan told you he didn't understand why this is a big fuck you to the audience. But let me explain to all of you who are not reading Hunter x Hunter. They live in a world where if you're a hunter, if you're a man who makes his living off of discovering the unknown, and basically you go places where no person has ever gone before, and these people are treated like heroes. These people are world-renowned. The governments treat these people well. Everyone treats a hunter well. Because their job is so dangerous and so beneficial to people. And you can't just tell me that not one hunter before you, not one fucking person before you has ever thought, let's make a spaceship. Fuck you in the ass with all the dicks. Fuck you. This chapter was literally insulting. It was insulting to read this. Completely and utterly insulting. I've only been reviewing this for 3 fucking chapters now, and I have never had a series insult me quite like this one has. Possibly when I read She Scares Me and realized just how much of a ripoff of Fruits Basket was, and how much she was trying to make all the characters of Fruits Basket into dicks. I can't talk. I'm done. No, fuck this chapter. Fuck it. Reborn, chapter 375, Appearance. So what happened in this chapter? Well, all my predictions up to this point have been wrong. Shall I explain why? So the attack that blew the roof off the hotel that Zanzis was staying at in the fight between him and Hibari, basically he used that to deflect the attack that Hibari was launching at his boss watch at the very last minute. But in order for them to continue fighting after the time went out, Hibari smashed his own boss watch, basically eliminating Fawn from the match, which was probably appropriate since he had run out of all his present time. So he kind of no longer had any point to be in this tournament anymore. And of course, Zanzis was ready to do the same, but everyone stopped him beforehand, and so Hibari was going to fight Dino instead. And so after that, everyone's talking about what exactly happened afterwards and what's going to happen next. However, something interesting happened. While Cornello and Sawada, what was his name? He had the fucking weirdest name, Suna's dad. Ietsumi Sadawa. I'm just gonna call him Sawada. Fuck it. Cornello and Sadawa called Basil to see what's happening with the other competitors, like Skull. However, they have been attacked by a team of what looks like the prison guards for the Mafia jail. And one with a transparent pacifier, apparently, able to take down the entire Simone family. However, the second boss watch has already been broken, so I do not believe they're out of this just yet, but I definitely think Skull has no chance of winning this now. I truthfully believe that. So overall, not a bad chapter. Kind of curious about why the prison guards are there, and overall, yeah, better than Hunter x Hunter. Fucking better than Hunter x Hunter. Nisekoi, Chapter 16, Duel. So, in order to fight for Kirasaki's love, Ichigo has accepted the challenge of a duel from Tsugumi, and which involves a lot of gunfire that I was not expecting. So, basically this chapter turned into a old school, like, first 100 chapter episode of Reborn. That was the series. I just did the fucking series too. Basically, I really can't talk about that because, well, it was alright. It wasn't the best, but it was, definitely, it was acceptable. I can't talk about that, though, because I need to talk about the ending. The ending to this was so fucking great. Okay, there are cliffhanger endings, there are endings to arc where everything in that area is resolved, maybe foreshadowing the next arc, and then there are the jaw-dropper endings to chapters. This was a jaw-dropper because Tsugumi, the most manliest man of all time, is a chick. You heard that right. Tsugumi is a chick. I don't care that I just spoiled that for a lot of you. Tsugumi's a chick. You know what? I can't rate this chapter because, frankly, however you took that revelation, that is your own review for this chapter. My jaw was on the fucking floor, and that's my review. Bakuman, Chapter 169, Voices and Responses. So, how do I describe this chapter? Well, I guess the best way to describe this chapter is, throughout the whole chapter, in my head, Hearts on Fire was playing. Hearts on fire, strong desire, da na 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 na. Oh yeah. So, I'm sorry, I was eating some chips before doing this. So, Azumi has completely revealed that yes, she was in a relationship, and that they are going to get married once she has fulfilled her deal and they are together. Oh god, I love this chapter. Can't even talk straight, I'm sorry. Okay, so the big deal about this chapter is a lot of people have been complaining about how the internet was handling this whole situation, how they were saying it was stupid, and of course a lot of people who are against the romance are like, well, they're right, it is stupid. I disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree. I think this chapter was great. I think the responses were very realistic in today's day and age, and this is even further down the line. So even further down the line, no one believes in this kind of pure relationship. Everyone thinks this is all the biggest bullshit they have ever heard in their life. And that's, I think, is why it's so awesome to cheer for this romance. That's why I love cheering for this romance. I really do. I love this chapter. I really did. And I'm not going to convert anyone who hates this romance. I don't plan to. Just shut the fuck up and let me enjoy this. The world Jupiter sisters only know. Wait, no, I'm sorry. The world God only knows. Chapter 179, One Night Gigolo. I did not read that wrong. First off, the author used his color page to draw a Yumi naked in a bathtub, and the man went all out on detail. Best color pages ever. So, what happened this chapter? Well, Kima is basically trying to win over Yumi's heart, and he knows he has enough affection with her that he just needs one more big event to push her into falling madly in love with him. And so he attempts multiple ways to build this event, leading her to a special, I don't know, tortoise stone lake thing, whatever. And so Chihiro's like, I can't let you do this to Yumi. And Haku's like, please, let him work. This man is trying to save us all. And he's currently holding up the panties like, should I use the panties? Should I not use the panties? And of course, Haku's like, yes, he is. This was a very good chapter. It was very funny, which is honestly what I expect from this series a lot of the time, that we haven't had in a while because it's been so tense because of Vintage's attack. And hopefully with this, we'll finally get the last fucking goddess. Because my god, it has been 14 fucking chapters since it was revealed that Shiro was the wrong fucking girl. God damn it. That took a while. Anyway, overall, very good chapter. Toriko, chapter 178, Iko Nori. So, for the final ingredient, I thought last week was the final ingredient, but for the final ingredient of this fucking ihomaki, whatever the fuck it's called, they need nori, or basically the seaweed you wrap it in. Oh, excuse me. So, they go to basically this place where the people live off the land. Literally live off the land. Like, they have water because they have, like, these slugs that can hold 30 liters of water in their body. They have electricity because there are these turtles that fucking you plug into your house and they give you electricity. It's such fucking cheating. It's so fucking cheating. That's not living off the land. Everyone would fucking do that. People in cities would fucking literally have giant towers of these turtles just powering the entire city. Or probably not towers, but they'd have at least one on every rooftop. Literally, this is not living off the land. This is literally replacing power companies with animals. Such fucking cheaters. Anyway, the nori comes off of the power generating turtle's back. But of course, before that could happen, Toriko has to use a special crank tail that every turtle has to power the entire village, because apparently he's strong and everyone else is weak and he's the only one that can do it. And of course, that gets him all the nori he could ever use. One other thing did happen this chapter. We met up with the Gourmet Knights, and we also met up with the Gourmet Knight from the Frozen Hell arc. It was Taba something. What was it? It was I can figure this out. I can figure it. Their leader was Aimaru, and the dude I'm trying to recall was Takemaru. And yes, I looked up the pages. Fuck off. Like I'm gonna remember that bullshit off the top of my head. Anyway, so they meet up with them, and yeah, reunion. There you go. That's the end of the chapter. Fuck it. I liked it. I thought it was an okay chapter, even though they were a bunch of cheating bastards. Liar Game, chapter 150, Cornering the Enemy. I liked this chapter. Especially the ending. Oh, I'm smiling right now. I like this chapter. So, what happened this chapter of Liar Game? Well, this chapter of Liar Game, we had Haramoto, of course, has been sent out of the area, and that means there's someone else with his tablet. Meanwhile, someone else has that person's tablet. I don't remember the names of his goons. So Blackhair doesn't have her own tablet, so when it comes her turn to bet, she has Haramoto's tablet, and Blondie still has Blackhair's tablet. So when she tried to give it to Blackhair, Akiyama stopped her from doing it, meaning that she has no choice but to place a bet under Haramoto's name. But when her turn came up, I shit you not, Akiyama just starts placing a bet in front of everyone without doing anything, without hiding it. He literally just picks up his tablet and goes, I'm placing a bet. What does it look like? Fucking A. I need to know the reasoning behind this. God damn it. This is a good fucking series. This is a series that keeps me legitimately interested. God damn. Overall, very good chapter. Very much enjoyed it. Fucking Akiyama. Detective Conan, chapter 809. Traces of fuck. Give me a moment. Traces of having been in a room. God damn it, I can't believe I couldn't say that. Anyway, so what happened this chapter? Well, Conan and I have been left behind while the rest are going on a ski trip because I forgot something at home, and they asked, Shubara, I believe his name was Shubara. I don't have my paper next to me. God, I do have my paper next to me. Oh my god, I have my notes next to me. Awesome. Shubara. There we go. It was Shubara. Shubara. Yes. I knew I had my notes next to me. I'm so happy. But anyway, so of course they ask him for a ride, and they end up finding Officer Takagi, who of course has been held captive for a while before this. And right afterwards, someone gets dropped from 26 floors up. Naturally. And so, the three witnesses, or, I'm sorry, not witnesses, the three suspects of this case are three people in which an email stating, "If you think you can kill me, come and try it. With the door to my room open, I'm waiting for you. I'll send you to your grave instead." This message was relayed to three cell phones, three of which were at the scene of the crime, all having their own little proof of how they were there. And that proof was the froth of a beer, the steam from coffee, and the smoke from a cigarette. And Conan thinks this over like, which one of these bitches killed? Overall, an interesting start to what I hope will be a very quick case. This doesn't seem very interesting. Froth, steam, and smoke, huh? I'm sorry, that just seems so lame. So overall, good start. I'm hoping this ends quick. Beelzebub, chapter 146. We're going on a field trip. This chapter sucked. It did. It sucked. This was supposed to be a comedy chapter, and it failed. Big time. Seriously, this was fucking... ugh. So why didn't I like this chapter? Well, nothing they did was funny. The whole chapter was about trying to convince the principal to let them go on a field trip that was planned for the school they're staying at because the school that they were originally at, because it's a thug school, they would always get into fights, and eventually they just kind of abolished all field trips and festivals just to keep other people from getting hurt by their students, which is more sad than funny. And so, they're all trying to say, oh, we really want to go on this field trip. I'm sorry, this sucked. It wasn't funny. But they did go on the field trip, and so I hope a demon attacks, because that's the only way this arc can save itself. Stars, chapter 22, The First Message. So this chapter was a giant heap of exposition, so give me a moment. So, what they see is a giant extraterrestrial building a meeting place, or what they presume to be a meeting place, for them to meet on Mars in the next year and a half. However, there's also a message hidden in lights that basically people, only certain people can see that message. Our main character, what the fuck is his name? Maho is one of those people, and the other girl, which, Mikuro, is that her name? I'm not sure. My notes are horribly unorganized, people. I don't know what I'm thinking when I write this crap. Maho and Mikuro are able to see these messages, and supposedly the message is, the power of the galaxy consists of memory, sound, and map. Basically, these are referring to three special children on Earth who have these three powers. Sound, of course, being Mikuro, who was able to detect this message on her just by looking at it. Memory, which is basically someone they haven't found yet. And map, which is Maho's power, because he's able to basically, when he closes his eyes, he can see the entire universe as it should be. So these three abilities have to be on Mars at the time of the meeting, apparently. I really cannot wait for this to turn into an attack from the Mars Martians or something, because that would be fucking hilarious. But basically, Maho wakes up at the end of the chapter, and the only word he says is Mars. Which I only have to think he's saying it in the same way that kid from The Wizard is saying California. Fucking. Not bad. Not bad. I'm starting to see why this is so close to cancellation, though. I really am. I'm sure we'll see more and more hints as time goes on. To Love Rude Darkness, Chapter 17, Trigger, Intensification of Love. So, what happened this chapter in To Love Rude Darkness? Well, basically what happens is Momo gets herself a fan club. At least I think it's Momo, right? Momo's the one with the huge... Yeah, Momo's the one with the huge tits. And so she gets her own fan club devoted to protecting her. All the while, she's still scheming about how to build the perfect harem for Rito. Finally, trying to seduce him into his more carnivorous side. That was the word I was looking for. However, her resolve is not strong enough, as when she thinks that Rito might actually give in to that, she backs away very quickly. So, that could be a hindrance. Well, we've still got a whole evil organization to fight, so we got plenty of time to solve that problem. Anyway, the chapter ends with Momo scolding her fan club for trying to kick Rito's ass for her incident of dragging him into a storage room and trying to have sex with him. And of course, her fan club realizes that they love being yelled at by her. That's kind of creepy. Overall, kind of an chapter. Not really anything happened, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't Hunter x Hunter, I can say that. No, I'm never gonna fucking drop Hunter x Hunter. That was a bullshit. Another new 3 chapters from Baby Steps, 85 through 87. What happened in these chapters? Well, as you all know, we're still in the 3-set match game against Alex. That was his name. Maro versus Alex. And of course, Maro has been holding his own very well against this game of Alex, who he couldn't beat 2 weeks ago in the story. However, now Alex is starting to improve upon his own game, taking the lead against Maro, and not only that, by the end of this, taking the second set, meaning they have to go into the third set to decide the winner. And of course, Maro, however, is also evolving his game, allowing his instinct to take over rather than just trying to think every move ahead of time. That pretty much sums up all 3 chapters. Nothing too big has happened yet. Everything is sort of, will they evolve into better players? Will they not? Overall, not bad. Nothing I can complain about. Nothing like Hunter x Hunter. Never gonna drop that. But overall, definitely enjoying this series more and more. Definitely recommend reading it. Addicted to Curry, Chapter 93, Bittersweet Return of the Father and Reddang, whatever the hell that curry's called. So we finally have a plot line revolving around our 2 main characters, Yuri and Makito. We haven't had one of those since I started this series. That kind of bugs me. So, what occurs is basically, the whole series has been about Yui's father left. He left, he left, He left, he never came back to run the curry shop, and it sank into the ground. So Makito, who's a curry chef, came back, started cooking curry for the restaurant, and it's now booming with business all over again. And of course, they've always been looking for Yui's father as well. Well, now he's finally returned home, and they've had this heartfelt reunion. It's been very nice. He accused Makito of trying to tempt his daughter over to a darker side. That's beautiful. And officially, he has decided to close the restaurant, which I think is the biggest bull crap. I do. I think it's the biggest bull crap. I'm sorry. Sorry for that pause there. My finger was hurting for whatever god reason. It was bullcrap, and I'll tell you why it was bullcrap. He has been out of this series, out of this restaurant for more than a year, and they worked all this time to revive it, and now he's just like, oh, I'm gonna close it down. Fuck you! They did all this work trying to get it back up after you left. They deserve to run it. I'm sorry. No, fuck him. Fuck this guy who just showed up this chapter, even though he's been talked about all this fucking series. Fuck him. And so the chapter ends, of course, with Makoto asking if he can do one more thing. And so he agrees. He has one request. Yes, I just really quickly went through it. He has one request, and that was what the chapter ended on, so we won't find out his request until next chapter, which probably won't be a month from now. Keep your fingers crossed. I doubt any of you are even listening to this. Who fucking listens to fucking Addicted to Curry? Leave a comment. Tell me, who listens to this fucking Addicted to Curry? Because I don't think anyone even does. I think I do this for myself. Anyway, I like the chapter. Fuck you's father, but I like the chapter. And that is it, folks. Thank you all for listening. Please, visit my blog, pixelsmackdown.wordpress.com. You can see it right down there in the links. All the chapters, of course, are in the links, though if you're listening to the closing, I guess you don't need to know that. But hey, thank you all for listening. I'm the Walt, and keep on reading.